I wonder if this is you too. The number of business owners that I speak to, my clients and members of the Vivid Business Club, who experience their highest level of procrastination at this time of the day. The time of the day when you have just done the school run, or you've been shopping, or you've been out somewhere, and then you need that time to decompress. You been like that? So let me paint the picture for you. Say, for example, you've done the school run or you've dropped your kid or kids at nursery, or you've just done a mega shop in Tesco's at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Who does that? You're nutters if you do that. Oh my goodness. I avoid it. But you've been in a situation where potentially your senses are completely overloaded. What I mean by that is imagine all of the things that you've seen with your eyes, all of the noises that you've heard with your ears, especially if you are dealing with children or animals, and everything is just so overstimulating that you need time to like decompress. This is actually a period of time that your nervous system is seeking regulation. And as soon as your nervous system is seeking regulation, your body is sort of on your doubt, is asking you to numb that feeling because it feels uncomfortable. And the quickest and easiest and socially acceptable way to numb those feelings at that time of the day is to go on your phone and start doom scrolling. So today, my love, my friend, my mate, my mate, I am going to share with you 3 ways, no, actually 5 ways to help you to stop doom scrolling when you feel the urge. So I'm talking about these moments. Now, for me, I sometimes get in a trap when I come in from the school run. However, there are some tips. There are certain times when it happens to me, and there's certain times when it doesn't. So I'm going to talk about that. But also, it can happen anywhere. So if I've been to a networking event or I've then gone to the shops and potentially my senses are incredibly overstimulated, I need to sit in the car for a little while. Now, there is a reason why we seek this. When we're trying to regulate our nervous systems after these events, we are going to need somewhere where it has not got much echo. In a car, especially if you've ever done any recording any content in your car, the sound is brilliant. That's why we all sing in the car, because what's it called? The echo, the sound. Oh, you're screaming at me, aren't you? Come on, Claire. No, it's like in the shower. It just sounds epic in the car. It's going to come to me in a minute. Feels epic in the shower. It's the same kind of thing, right? The sound feels comfortable in a car because of the way that it's built. It's obviously soft and stuff like that. So we find that it's like going into a little bit of a womb, I suppose. And also, some people have like this moment where they don't take their coat off for a while. I can do that. Like if I'm really overstimulated, and there are some children that I used to work with when I was a teacher who might have been overstimulated if they've got if they suffer from, not suffer, but if they have ADHD or have autism, some kind of ASD on the spectrum, but they having a coat on helps them to feel like snug and warm, and having something close helps to regulate their senses. So if you're experiencing this is a kind of other thing that you do. Now, I would like to give you the first tip when you're feeling like this, especially if you've had a challenging morning, by the way. Like, I've got one child. If I was lucky to have more than one, I I don't know if I would cope as well now. I'm sure that I would, because I would feel blessed and I get to have more than one child and all that. But I think Jackson is quite he, I think, has got the sound waves capable of 3 children. And some mornings getting him out of the door is quite significant because it's just so much going on. There's the pressure of getting out the door on time. There's the pressure of remembering everything. And it can be a little bit too much for our nervous systems. So this is why, and I've spoke about this in a piece of content, about the fact that I always, as much as I can, like I would say 90% of the time, I walk him to school, even though it actually takes like 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. It's worth the time because of how it impacts positively my nervous system once I've done that walk, as well as hymns probably. The only when I drive is when I've got to go to a meeting or go to an event after dropping him off. But I want to give you the permission with my first step, number one, to allow yourself 10 minutes to have that time. Give yourself 10 very intentional minutes of planned nervous regulation time. It can, I wouldn't say it's the healthiest way to regulate your nervous system, numbing it with being on Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pause there. We have a visitor on the podcast. Have you ever seen a cuter dog? She hasn't been with me all day, and I'm recording in the evening, and normally this is our time because Sky Jackson's gone to bed. So she's sitting basically right behind me. She's just so gorgeous. Now I've lost my thread. Sorry for going off on a tangent in the middle of it, but look at her. If she barks, she's out. Anyway, so what I was saying, I don't think necessarily going on your Instagram or TikTok or, doom scrolling for 10 minutes is the healthiest way to regulate your nervous system. But we have to start somewhere. So I'm going to give this permission to be like, right, you've got 10 minutes. You've got You've got 10 minutes. Sorry to those who just listened to the podcast. Skylar's moved and is in the crook of my arm. You've got 10 minutes to just look at your Instagram or whatever you want to do. Just start with 10 minutes. So the first part of this process is just putting a timer on and being really disciplined that when that timer goes off, you stand up. Okay. So number one, dedicate 10 minutes of that time to regulate yourself. But I would suggest that 10 minutes could be walking or singing in the kitchen and dancing or writing, journaling, or meditating, or doing EFT tapping, something that's going to regulate you. Just be compassionate to yourself and kind that those 10 minutes are required. That's not you being lazy. That's not you being unproductive. That is you regaining your regulation of your nervous system so that you can be a badass. Because I'm telling you, when your nervous system is dysregulated, your energy sucks ass and your doubt gets loud. So those 10 minutes are an investment into your energy so that you can be a badass. So that's number one. Number two, while those 10 minutes are happening, if you are on your Instagram, TikTok, on your social media, I want you to seek out 5 accounts, maybe mine. All right. 5 accounts that really inspire and motivate you. Go and seek those accounts that make you feel really good. And this goes without saying that everything on your social media, I want you to dedicate it to cheering you up. If you are following anyone that you think you should follow because otherwise they might get upset because once you had a conversation, just mute them. Okay. You don't have to deal with the overthinking of, oh God, I really want to unfollow them, but I can't really because just mute everybody that gives you a little bit of an ick or a little bit of discomfort. Even if it's me, mute. Obviously it's not me. I just bring all of the laughs and the gags and the entertainment as well as helping you make loads of money, don't I? Obs. But have that, like, give yourself that permission that your mental health when you look at these social media apps is priority. So use it to your advantage. And if those 10 minutes where you're processing and regulating your nervous system, you want to look at social media, then do it. But look at the people that make you feel really good. So that's number two. Number three, when the timer goes off, so at the end of those 10 minutes, I want you to get a notepad and I want you to dump everything that is in your brain. I want you to write down everything that's got to do with the house, family, pets, job, work, nan, dog, garden, shopping, everything that is in your head. Now, if you do this every single day, your brain dumps are going to feel easier and easier and easier, and you're going to have less to write down. But this is a very important part of regulating your nervous system so that you regain control and don't sit and doom scroll and procrastinate. Okay, so brain dump it all down. If you've been listening to this, you know what the next 2 steps are, don't you? Anybody at this point in the podcast, if you can, and I can see how many minutes it is, I want you to send me a screenshot of the podcast at this point and say, I know what the next 2 steps are. Okay. And if you do that, I'm going to send you something. It's going to be a surprise because I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but I'm going to do it. Okay. And that's only if you know the next two things. Obviously, you've got to tell me in the message. You can obviously cheat on this, but I am hoping that you are as loyal and as full of integrity as me. Yeah? Good. Well, I'm talking chatting a bit of shit tonight, and no, it is a very high valued episode. Right, number 4 is I want you to go through that brain dump and highlight everything that you actually need to get done today. Is it all as important as each other? No is the answer. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by how much you've got to do when you don't have to do it all. So highlight the things that you have to do today. And then number 5, I want you to put it in order. Now, you've got 2 choices for number 1. Number 1 could be something that's really easy to gain momentum and get started. Or you can choose number 2, which is the hardest thing. So you get it out of the way and apply the 1% factor, whereas you just put 2 minutes on and you trick 2-minute timer on, and you trick your brain into thinking that's the only 2 minutes that you have to do. Okay, but we know different because we're productive as fuck, aren't we? Yeah. So trick your brain into thinking that's all you have to do so you don't procrastinate on it. Okay. These are things that are really important to have in place so that you can be productive as fuck, be the warrior boss you were born to be, and get some shit done. Okay. And I want to wait. You have not got time to sit and doom scroll for hours and hours and hours after the school run or after something where it's overstimulated you. You need to just get your shit together and get it done. And this is why this podcast episode is here for you, as well as my Kickstart formula. Now, if you haven't already downloaded my free Kickstart formula, it is a game changer, my love. Like I'm writing a book about it. It is a game changer. I use it every single day. I'm going to just show you now I'm going to show you in real time what my Kickstart list looks like today. It's nice and slim. You know why? Because I'm going on holiday. Well, I'm not actually going anywhere, but I've got a week off next week, and I am scheduling the shit out of myself so that I don't have to think about work really next week. Apart from that, I might get a little bit SEO geeky because it is my new favorite thing to do. SEO. Love it. If you want to learn more about SEO, go and listen to my episode with Polly Clover. She is a genius. Just saying, Polly Clover is amazing. Go and find her on LinkedIn and Threads. She's fantastic. But in all senses and purposes, I want you, because I've actually moved my list now, my plan for today. I want you to go and download the Kickstart formula at clarehill.uk/Kickstart, all one word, so that you can apply this to your daily routine. So you give yourself those 10 minutes and then you can get your shit done. So I'm just going to go back to my plan, because even though I do actually remember what I said in this episode, I'm being so organized and fantastic now. Do you see? This is these episodes are going to get so good, babes. So good. Mate, sorry, I keep forgetting. Men, you don't want to be called babes, do you? No, I don't think so. Right. Okay, so let me summarize. If you want to stop doom scrolling after the school run or after going shopping or anything where you've been overstimulated, these are the 5 most effective things that you can do for yourself so you can get a productive as fuck instead of doom scrolling. So number 1, I want you to allow yourself 10 minutes to decompress and regulate yourself. 10 minutes should be enough time. You get to choose what you want to do in those 10 minutes. Now, I would suggest meditating, journaling, listening to music, dancing in the kitchen, singing to your heart out, or meditating or EFT tapping. Okay, that's what I would suggest. But leading on to number 2, if you do choose to look at your social media, go and find at least 5 accounts that really motivate and inspire you. Be intentional about who you are looking at on social media so that they fill your cup instead of draining it. Number 3, as soon as those 10 minutes are over, I want you to dump everything that's in your head, everything that you're trying to remember, get it down on paper so you feel that clarity and capacity to get on with the shit that needs to be done. Number 4, I want you to highlight what has to be done today. Has to be, like, really important, moves the boat forward, not just busy productive stuff. And then I want you to order it in order of the tasks in which order you're going to do them. All right. They are my 5 tips to stop doom scrolling after the school run or whenever you feel like it's happening. If you haven't subscribed and follow, can you go and do that? Because I would be so grateful every single time me and Hannah are like, woo, another follower, another subscriber. And if you're listening on Spotify, comment on the episode. I would love to see your comment on the episode. And then I can talk back to you. It'd be so cute. Listen out. And like, if you're listening, we are doing something really cool with this podcast soon. We are at the moment planning it. Just keep your eyes out. Something exciting is coming. And go and download the Kickstart formula, clarehill.uk/Kickstart. Or you can just see all of my other freebies at clarehill.uk/free stuff. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And if you've listened to this after the school run, you are really going to have a productive day, Queen. Walking, you know you are. See you later. Thank you so much for listening to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Written, produced and hosted by Claire Hill, and music has been composed by my brother, Phil Vick.